We see the prospect of this Iran deal. We're at a preliminary agreement. Does that provide you with a glimmer of hope that the world could potentially be a safer place?
I'm in favor of the Iran negotiations, but they're profoundly flawed. There are two states that rampage in the Middle East, carry out aggression, violence, terrorist acts, illegal acts constantly. They're both huge nuclear weapon states, and their nuclear armaments are not being considered.
And who exactly are you referring to there?
The United States and Israel, the two major rogue states in the world. I mean, there's a reason why in international polls run by U.S. polling agencies, the main ones, the United States is regarded as the greatest threat to world peace by an overwhelming margin. No other country's even close. Incidentally, it's kind of interesting that the U.S. media refused to publish this, but it doesn't go away.
Well, you don't hold the US President Barack Obama in very high esteem, but does this still make you think of him in slightly better terms? The fact that he is trying to reduce the threat of nuclear war.
Actually, he isn't. He's just initiated a program, a $1 trillion program of modernization of the nuclear weapon system, which means expanding the nuclear weapon system. That's one of the reasons why the famous doomsday clock of the Bulletin of American Scientists has just a couple of weeks ago been pushed 2 minutes closer to midnight. Midnight is the end. It's now 3 minutes from midnight. That's the closest it's been in 30 years, since the early Reagan years when there was a major war scare.
Is the US and its allies responsible for what we're seeing now in terms of the terrorist attacks around the world?
Remember, the worst terrorist campaign in the world right now, by far, is the one that's being orchestrated in Washington. That's the global assassination campaign. There's never been a terrorist campaign at that scale.
When you say global assassination campaign?
The drone campaign. That's exactly what it is. Over large parts of the world, the United States is systematically, publicly, openly, there's nothing secret about what I'm saying. We all know it. It's carrying out regular campaigns to assassinate people who the U.S. government suspects of intending to harm us someday. And indeed, it is, as you mentioned, a terror-generating campaign. When you bomb a village in Yemen, say, and you kill somebody, maybe the person you were aiming at, maybe not, and other people who were happen to be in the neighborhood, how do you think people react? They say, we're going to take revenge.
You describe the US as the leading terrorist state. Where does Europe fit into that picture then?
Well, that's an interesting question. So, for example, there was recently a study, I think it was done by the Open Society Forum, of the worst form of torture, rendition. Rendition means you take somebody you suspect of something and you send him off to your favorite dictator, maybe Assad or Gaddafi or Mubarak, to be tortured, and then hoping that maybe something will come out of it. That's extraordinary rendition. The study reviewed the countries that participated in it. Well, obviously the Middle East dictatorships, because that's where they were sent to be tortured. Europe, most of Europe participated. England, Sweden, other countries. In fact, there was only one region of the world where nobody participated, Latin America, which is very dramatic. First of all, Latin America has now gotten pretty much out of U.S. control. When it was controlled by the United States not very long ago, it was the world center of torture. Now it wouldn't participate in the worst form of torture, rendition. Europe participated. If the master roars, the servants cower.
So Europe is the servant of the United States?
Evidently. They're two cowardly to take an independent position.
Where does Vladimir Putin fit into this picture? He's painted as, well, one of the greatest global threats to security. Is he?
Like most leaders, he's a threat to his own population. He's taken illegal actions, obviously, but to depict him as a crazed monster who's suffering from brain disease and has Alzheimer and is, a rat-faced evil creature, that's standard Orwellian fanaticism. I mean, whatever you think about his policies, they're understandable. The idea that Ukraine might join a Western military alliance would be quite unacceptable to any Russian leader. This goes back to 1990, when the Soviet Union collapsed. There was a question as to what would happen with NATO. Gorbachev agreed to allow Germany to be unified and to join NATO. It's a pretty remarkable concession, with a quid pro quo that NATO would not expand 1 inch to the east. That was the phrase that was used.
So Russia has been provoked?
Well, what happened? NATO instantly moved to East Germany. Then Clinton came along, expanded NATO right to the borders of Russia. Now there are the new Ukrainian government, the government after the overthrow of the preceding one, the parliament voted, I think 300 to 8 or something like that, to move to join NATO.
Which you can understand why they would want to join NATO. You can see why Petro Poroshenko's government would probably see that it's protecting his country.
No, it's not protect. Crimea was taken away after the overthrow of the government, right? He's not protecting Ukraine, is threatening Ukraine with major war. That's not protection. The point is, this is a serious strategic threat to Russia, which any Russian leader would have to react to. That's well understood.
Welcome, everybody. We're back. Welcome.
Bonsoir.
Big Stackies. What's up, baby?
Hello.
Mikey, OGB, welcome back.
Hello, everybody. Yes, good to be back. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Another Friday night here in the lovely suburb of Orlando.
Yeah, good to have you back, brother. Always good to have you back. We got a interesting show for you today. As you saw, Noam Chomsky talking away. He's got a lot on his mind, but it's necessary to see that. It's I believe that there's a lot of people with a lot of confusion. There's nobody like old Chomp that knows foreign policy, that knows about wars more than he did. I mean, he's the co-author of Manufacturing Consent, and he's got quite a history. So it's always important to hear what he's got to say. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better one. And what he was saying, or at least I should say the only thing he got wrong there was that it's well understood. That's the only thing that I'd say he got wrong when he was talking there, because it's not well understood. There's a lot of people that don't have a damn clue what's going on, and they're just being pulled in certain directions and believe that it's all well and just. And, I think it's important to go back and see that. But he also said any Russian leader would have to react. And I thought that was another interesting part there.
Accordingly, yeah. Any Russian leader would generally react the same.
Right. And but it's all about Putin, And
Putin.
Yeah, any person would react the same. And that's and another thing he said is not protecting Ukraine by threatening war. We're not protecting Ukraine by threatening war. Yeah, that too. I agree with that. You agree with that, Big Stack?
That we're not protecting Ukraine by threatening war?
Yeah.
I mean, threats do nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to kick your ass, dude. I'm going to kick your ass. You look at me like that.
I feel
one more
safer.
Time.
I feel
look
safer.
Look at me like that one more time. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. No, it means nothing.
And he also mentioned about America is the greatest threat to world peace with Israel. That was a side. That was a curveball.
That might be kind of true. Really.
Yeah, but the Israel part was kind of a curveball.
Really? You think so?
I mean,
no.
I know what they do to the Palestinians and stuff, and I'm totally against it. I support BDS sanctions and all that shit.
They're surrounded by Palestinians and Palestinian sympathizers, so they piss off everybody,
right?
You know, and they are the antagonists.
Yeah, but America's gonna get their ass beat because they're not big like we are, and they're in a more dangerous spot than we are. So if anything, Israel, we might be setting them up for failure.
Well, no, Israel doesn't play by American rules.
Right. And they got nukes. So that's always a bigger, you know.
And Jesus isn't really there either. So
he just left Chicago.
But we're gonna actually start with that about the American is the greatest threat to world peace. That's exactly where we're gonna go with this beginning here because I read an article and sent you guys something recent. It was today, basically, because I didn't have time. But the CIA, basically, this article that I found was at a counterpunch by Gabriel Rockhill, and it was about the CIA didn't defeat fascism in World War II. It internationalized it. And it is a fascinating read. If you get a chance to go back and read that, it's we're going to talk about it right now. The Ukraine and Russia were basically living harmoniously until World War II, the post-World War II. They were fine. They were dandy. They were doing their thing. And this is important history to know as we keep peeling back layers of the onion going into this shit. The O.U.N., Organization of Ukraine Nationalists, and the Ukrainian Insurgent Army assembled and collaborated with Nazi government. And this happened for the most part in Ukraine a while, like I said, post-World War II. It's estimated that they participated in 1/4 of the Holocaust victims that were killed in that region of the world. So following the war, CIA set up an international architecture of fascist militias in order to do some of the most unspeakable things imaginable to the Soviets. And this was all a part of the American agenda continuing from the 1918-1920 intervention of America when we went into the Soviet Union. Let me get here. America didn't just prop up the Nazi leadership and fascist militias and collaborator organizations. They brought them to United States. They didn't arrest them. They didn't kill them. They didn't try them. They brought them here and they put them on our payroll. And
we learned from them.
Yeah, and we took their ideas and stuff, and we
adopted a lot of their ideas.
That's right, and we wanted to modernize the equipment and stuff through their ideas and create some of the most devastating. And we even gave them research centers and shit like that, and they were able to study at some of the Ivy League schools and most prestigious universities, and they were even given nationalities. They were promised to.
They were given new nationalities?
They were being able to become citizens. They even moved their families here. There was a lot of shit that we did, and we did not treat them like Nazis. So that was it started with Operation Paperclip, and that was 1,600 of them that came here at that time. And then it soon turned into tens of thousands of them. And there is not a for sure number of how many people it ended up being, but it ended up being a lot of them. And they were bringing in fascists from Italy, Japan, all over the world, wherever there were. And then some were brought and kept in the United States, and then some were sent out to do dirty deeds across the world. So that's important to keep in mind. But Reinhard Gehlen from the Third Reich was brought to a Yankees game. And this dude with members of the CIA. So this was... He later was placed in charge of the CIA equivalent in Germany, this guy, and he was a part of the Third Reich. This guy was a high-ranking position.
Well, they saw, the power of, or, the demonstration of how to enslave so many people to brainwash a country,
Yeah.
They were masters at it, the Nazis were.
Right.
Build that nationalist pride.
Oh, they did some fucked up things to their, as test subjects.
Oh, yeah.
across the board, all kinds of shit. I watched a movie on Netflix not too long ago. It was something worm. It was about the Nazi. You guys all right? It was about the Nazi. It was about MK Ultra, but it was the guy that his dad was. He was told Eric Olson, I think his name was, and his dad was thrown out of a window by the CIA. He was working as a part of the CIA, and he was thrown out of a window. But the whole movie is about him going to find out what the hell happened to my dad. Really, did he jump out the window? Did he get thrown out of the window? What the hell? Wormwood, that's what it was called, Wormwood.
I think I've seen that.
Did you see that? It was really interesting. Yeah, get the mic up.
It's a movie though. It's not a documentary. It's a movie. Right?
Yeah, it was kind of like a 4-part series of I think it was it had certain show. It was like 4 or 5 parts to it or some shit like that, if I remember correctly.
I think I see. It's an old flick.
I think it was, I think it came out in like 2017 or something, if I'm not mistaken.
I might be thinking of something else.
But it was about MK Ultra, and it was very interesting, and how the CIA just fucked this guy up.
Every time I hear MK Ultra, I just think of the Unabomber, because I know that guy was definitely involved with that.
Yeah, he was in there too.
And I think Manson is like speculated with that.
Right.
But carry on.
Yeah, you're good. So Ukraine. No, you're right. I saw that too, which was super interesting. There was a guy that did research on the Manson thing too, and he's got fucking information for days. I love watching those things. They're just so intriguing. Anyway, so Ukraine was kind of central to all this stuff, and the head of the O.U.N. was Stephen Bandera, which was, in many people in Ukrainians' eyes, like a hero, like he was. But this guy was responsible for hundreds of thousands of fucking deaths, Jews, Polish people, even Ukrainians and shit like that. But like tons of people. So Douglas Valentine is a writer, and he's one of the biggest specialists of the CIA. And he writes about how the CIA was running fascist assets in the Ukraine for 70 years, developing a whole fucking network of them. Why? We'll get to in a second. So, So anyway, there's been a big whitewashing campaign going on, as you can see, and even not just in the mainstream, but all around the world.
Worldwide.
They're basically international PR firms that are trying and succeeding and just whitewashing this entire history. So the Ukrainian government basically has... and various battalions are seen as freedom fighters. So that's what they're trying to whitewash to make you see them as, like the Mujahideen and Al-Qaeda and all that shit. Same thing, Bin Laden. But when you research it and you look into this stuff, you'll find out that it's deeper than that. There's, like I said, you just keep peeling back the onion, and all these relationships end up being real. So the whitewashing basically... It's just another way to get everybody involved in war, and it's another way to get people to buy into another NATO intervention. So this is where we get into it. Operation Gladio. All right. Most of these people don't fucking have an idea, which I didn't either, about
Gladio?
Gladio.
What's a Gladio? What's a Gladio? Is that a daddy-o?
It's a daddy-o on a patio.
Grandpa daddy-o?
Puffing,
Gladio?
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
It sounds cool.
Puff a fatio. No, it's not cool. So anyway, but I think that's the strategy for a lot of these people is to make it sound cool.
Have a cool name.
Yeah,
It's got a cool name. It must be kind of neat.
Yeah, it must be fine. It's not nothing.
I like it.
Yeah. But basically, we know what Operation Northwoods was, right? It was planned by all the. You don't know what?
No.
Oh,
No, I do not.
Holy shit. Okay. I didn't think we were.
I know what an operation is.
Operation Northwoods was planned by all the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It was basically approved. It was documented. But it was never put into play. And what that was, I got it here actually. Operation Northwoods was to commit acts of terror on Florida. And
Florida?
It was, Florida.
Hey.
Not us.
That's going too far now.
Yeah. It was to kill innocent civilians and blame Cuba to get clearance basically to invade.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, I thought you knew. I was like, no, you know about this. But it was our own government creating false flags, killing our own fucking people, to blame Cuba to justify an invasion. All right.
That shit happens. I guarantee. I don't even have to hear anything, any news or nothing. That shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
They kill us, not just others. They kill us all the time for whatever the agenda is,
right?
Whatever the narrative is,
right?
All that.
Yeah, to get us to buy into something or whatever. Well, that's kind of where this is all going.
There will be no survivors.
Yeah, it's crazy. And by the way, one of those plans for Operation Northwoods was to fly a domestic airliner into people and kill them that way to blame Cuba on it.
When was that operation?
And a lot of people have raised questions if that was 9/11-ish, but we're not going to get into all that. But it is interesting though that was one of the plans.
When was the Northwoods operation conducted?
It wasn't conducted because it never.
60s, right?
Yeah, it was in the 60s, and I believe it was Kennedy that said, "You guys are fucking not even human. What are you talking about, dude?"
Prior to the
assassination
missile crisis thing. And
yeah, it was all during that because the missile crisis was all the Bay of Pigs and all that shit was to try to get us to invade Cuba, and Kennedy. I think that's one of the reasons he's not here. So anyway, once that was shut down, right? General Lyman Linlitzer, who oversaw the Operation Northwoods, became
Sounds like a Nazi.
Yeah, right. Became the head of NATO command and basically implemented a form of Operation Northwoods in Europe under the name Operation Gladio. So this is crazy. Operation Gladio is the CIA and MI6, which is the British intelligence, working with
James Bond.
Yeah, working with NATO.
007.
But behind the scenes of majority of the governmental institutions in order to set up, recruit, and train and establish what they call stay-behind armies. These are armies of fascists and Nazis that would stay behind enemy lines if the Soviet Union decided to move westward,
Partisans.
which they never did. But they were basically there to commit sabotage and terror and shit like that if that was their initial purpose. So instead, what happened was they used these fascists and the secret armies in every NATO country, a parallel system of fascist militias that were not overseen by governments of these countries, but rather controlled by the CIA and MI6.
So they got free reign in the past. They could just do whatever the fuck they want.
Basically, dude. They said majority of the governments and the officials didn't even know about it. So there was
And if they got caught, somebody would come and pick them up.
That's right.
They knew.
Come pick him up. So well, somebody had to know. You know, some of them had to know. You got to have something. But
They got a special card.
right. But you're right though. But what does that tell you? That tells you it's so secret. They know, but they don't know. So it's kind of like when you fuck up and your boss is like, "Don't tell me that. Don't just go away." Okay. They had, then this is what happened, right? So they were controlled by the CIA and the MI6. So they had them commit acts of terror against civilian populations, blaming the acts on communists and socialists, and using them as an excuse to go after communist parties and socialist parties to create enormous crackdowns on the left. Why? To force civilian populations to support law and order governments, and to vote right-wing candidates who campaigned on cracking down on communist terrorists. So the great old law and order thing, right? It's very interesting. So there's a book on this shit too. It's Daniel Ganzer's NATO's Secret Armies. There's other shit. The European Parliament has a resolution on Gladio. It recognizes it exists and that it should be further investigated. The high courts of Italy also found that it exists, and there's lines drawn all the way back to the United States national security state. So that's fucking crazy. And I'm talking about the most evil shit that they were doing. I mean, they were killing cops. They were doing all kinds of fucking shit. They were using bombs because they said that
that's not nice.
Bombs are not easily to trace. They were killing fucking kids. And
well, the more despicable, the better.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because it was causing terror and making these people just, say, hey, what the fuck?
You got to spark up some emotion in this, mass population.
Right. Right. Fear-mongering, but actually traumatic experiences to really fucking, make these people act. And they said that there was, suspicions that it, might be something else. It might not be the communists. They always, but they could never prove it. So these secret armies are a NATO project, and that's what's important to understand. NATO was directly integrated and directly integrating fascists and Nazis into these militias. Certain members admit it also, by the way. Adolf Heinzinger was another one that
never trust an Adolf.
Yeah, never trust a fucking Adolf ever.
He was the chief of general staff for Hitler's army.
If you ever have a son, that you should name him that.
Yeah, is that like how you try to
tell him just tell everybody you're nice. Just
how they always
if anyone
name
asks, just say I'm very nice.
I'm a nice Adolf. That's like when people go, well, should we restart? Should we name him Mike again or Steve again or something like that? Since it's been so long, there's probably no new. Yeah, every person tries to. Adolf is not one of those names you're going to recycle.
Don't bring it back.
Don't bring that back. But yeah, he was
done.
He was the chief general staff at Hitler's army in the Third Reich, and then he became a chairman of the NATO military command. And there's a list of these fucking guys.
Shit.
Probably anybody in the army with the name Adolf probably went up the ranks.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but they shouldn't be going up the NATO.
If I was in charge, anybody named
he-
Daniel, I'm like, hey, you're with me, buddy. Let's go.
When Adolf got the new job, did he change his name?
I don't know.
Still Adolf?
I don't know. That's a good question. But
How'd they know it was still him, though? I mean, just...
Yeah. I don't think they fucking cared because America, they were taking these guys to Yankees games and shit, dude.
The Juden.
Fuck, man. And we didn't know about this shit till recently, really. Like, think about it. Nobody really knew any of this stuff. Operation Paperclip or any of that shit.
Well, yeah, you can tell them now. Nobody cares.
Right. It's like that time heals all shit. And really...
We got other shit to worry about.
Yeah. Like debt. Heinz Speedo was another one. He was a German general.
Did he create the banana hammock?
Yeah, I was looking up his name just because I confirm these names when I fucking go through them, and it did pull up a Speedo thing, and I'm like, no, bitch, Heinz Speedo, motherfucker. It took me a couple times, but I had to. That's a true story. But he also went on to work for NATO, and like I said, there's a list of a lot of these people. So fast forward to today, okay? Russia today is not the Soviet Union, right? But they know their history, all right? Or at least most of it they do, all right? And remember, fucking, what was it? I don't even know what that guy said.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So anyway, so basically 27 million Russians lost their lives to Nazis, dude. Like, that's important to fucking remember. And this Ukrainian militia, the O.U.N., was responsible for tens of thousands of deaths post-World War II. So it continued all the way from the end of World War II to 1953. They were still slaughtering these motherfuckers. It's fucking crazy, man. So the NATO expansion eastward is the expansion of an army that's been working with the most evil fascist and Nazi regimes in order to kill socialism, to shore up capitalism, and to guarantee United States-style imperialism. So that's what you're seeing. And
so they're trying to be like us?
Well, NATO, I'm just talking about the threats of NATO in order of, and what they're, what it's all about. They're using actual Nazi fascists. The CIA and the MI6 have been going behind the scenes and using these fucking people to stir up shit. And it's working. It's fucking working. That's what you're seeing right now in Ukraine. We're funding them. We're giving them weapons and all this shit. No matter how big or small they are, that's their agenda. And when you take 30 NATO countries and from 1990s till that day and make the promise that you're not going to expand eastward after the 1990s and then do that all the way up till their fucking border, well, Jesus Christ. I mean, I get it.
That's threatening.
Right. I get it. The invasion, it's terrible. Fucking dead people, it's fucking terrible. I can't say anything without sounding like an endorsement for Putin, but like Chomsky said, anybody would react the same. It doesn't have to be Putin. It could be any Russian leader right now would respond the same. And now knowing what Operation Gladio is about, that's That's some fucking crazy shit, man. That's definitely some crazy shit. So I just felt like covering that because, and that article, yeah, definitely read that article. It's, we didn't just kill fascism, we internationalized it. And, you know, so when you talk about national security and humanitarianism and human rights and all this stuff, you know, it's just doesn't, it's, if anybody that knows half of what they're talking about knows it's all bullshit. So another way to say, fuck it. Fuck it all.
No.
Fuck fascists. Fuck Nazis. But it worked, man.
So that's not good then.
No, none of this is good.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
point. I don't think.
I was just
I think
checking.
that's a problem, though. People get caught up in picking sides, man. I think that's what we are in our DNA. It's like you want to pick a side all the time. It's like, oh well, I'm going with this or I'm going with that. That's what Republicans and Democrats has turned into. Nothing's about economic change, but everybody's just drawn to their side, and no matter what, they're going to support their side. They're going to run and vote, and then they're not going to pay attention anymore. And then when something happens, they're just going to repeat talking points on regular TV and just say, well, you know, the Republicans won't let Obama get anything done. And you know, it's
Goddamn right.
even though they're not doing anything that they said that they were going to do.
Is Obama still the president? I forgot.
No, but that was a major thing, even though we controlled everything. It's all bullshit. It's so much bullshit, and it's not.
I'm not even sure who the president is at the moment.
It doesn't matter, and that's the point. It's the electoral process is fucked.
It's all a farce now. It's all bullshit.
Yeah,
It's a joke.
Yeah, it is, man, and it's all about culture wars and other shit right now. It has nothing to do with our material well-being.
It's all about memes, right?
I just think
it's a good meme if you say, "I let the kids rub the hairs on my legs and stuff." Did you hear that bit?
No.
What the fuck?
no.
Yeah. I have hairy legs.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, some bit from it was before he was elected, but it was during the campaign where he was like, it was some shit like, I have hairy legs, and when I go in the swimming pool, the kids rub the hair upwards on my legs or some shit.
Yeah.
God.
Something
So all that
fucking
shit I
really
send you and you
weird
don't
like
watch
that,
any of it,
dude.
but you watch shit like that. It blows my
Well, I
mind.
love the weird shit. I live for weird stuff.
But you're complaining about the weird shit.
No, I'm not complaining. No, I'm not.
You just said it's weird and you don't like it. The hair up the legs.
No, I like weird stuff. I'm glad he said that.
I got something sitting right here that's interesting that kind of plays into how much they don't fuck around with anything. But this is about universal health care. I was looking for this too because I wanted to fucking find it to get it through. But according to a Congressional Budget Office report, the most thorough and extensive of its kind, we need to consider not what it will cost to implement universal health care, but how much we will save by implementing it. The report is incredibly comprehensive, but the bottom line is this. The report took 4 proposed universal health care plans and ran the numbers. They found that every single one of them would save us tens or hundreds of billions of dollars per year, ranging from $42 billion to $743 billion. At this point, the only people who are against universal health care are those who have been paid to spout private insurance propaganda and those who have taken the bait. Universal health care has strong bipartisan support. So, but yeah, man, it's we're just being lied to a lot, and now you see what they're doing. You know, they're just fuck, man. I knew the CIA was up to a lot of crazy shit, man. Obviously, because we've got
That's their mission.
yeah.
Do crazy.
And under the Reagan era,
Dark shit.
right? It was the Reagan era, I believe, where they said, "Hey, we don't have to report to you. We're just gonna be we're a secret service now, and we're running wild." Dude.
Is that the first time anybody ever asked them to report to him? Because they sure as hell didn't do it
before yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, look what happened to Kennedy. You know, wow. Man.
I am the law.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I could see Reagan trying to be like, "No, you need to let me know," and then being like, "No."
Well,
He had Bush. He had Bush as his vice president, the director, right there.
Right.
So maybe he just linked up, connected.
Happened back then.
A merger.
Do you know the CIA
You know what?
place is
You know
called?
what? Like, take that same scenario and like reduce it to a smaller scale. You know, like those guys that you see the videos of that say, "I ain't giving you my ID," and they won't roll their window down. If you did that shit in the 70s or the 60s, they would fucking kill you, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
like there's no video phone like taping the whole thing.
right.
Like so if you just cracked your window like, no, sorry, sir, I'm not giving you my ID. I don't have to give you my ID. I know the law.
Grip you out of the
They
fucking
would-
car.
They would just beat your fucking
You know
ass.
why? There wasn't cell phones too.
Yeah, no witnesses.
Dude, that's a big
Their word
protector.
against mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said the camera phones are a blessing in disguise, man. A lot of people don't realize they're saving those camera phones save a lot of lives and fucking a lot of ass whoopings. That's for sure. I mean, Amir Locke they didn't get justice for that dude. He was the next Breonna Taylor. They just fucking basically went in his apartment. He was sleeping. And they were like, don't grab the gun.
I just kind of learned something today of something to use in court a little bit.
What's that?
I had to take an MOT class today. I know we don't want to like put work out on the
Right.
microphone and stuff, but
Yeah. No, get in the microphone.
you know what I'm saying?
They want to hear you.
So I took the MOT class today, and the instructor was saying how, like, if you go up on the line, you know, a cop will pull you over and give you a ticket for going up on the white line.
Right.
But the travel lane is 2 inches after the white line.
So
you would have to go on the line and then beyond the line to really be illegal
by 2 inches.
by 2 inches.
So you got a 2-inch buffer after the white. You're talking about the stop bar, right?
No, I'm talking about the white line on the side of the road when you're driving.
Oh,
the edge line.
If you go on the line, a cop will pull you over and say, "Hey, you were on the line."
Right.
Well, it don't matter if I was on the line, fucker. Was I 2 inches over the line? No.
How
I
are you gonna
wasn't.
know that?
So then-
you know?
That's just it. Nobody knows.
No, nobody
Right.
knows
That's
that. But
just
I'm
it.
just saying, I
Yeah.
heard that in class today, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good thing."
No, but I mean,
Fuck
how?
off.
Even if I thought you did, what if I was 1 inch? You know, how are you gonna know?
It's arguable.
Well,
Yeah.
but usually if a cop pulls you over and say, "Oh, you touched the white line" or something, they're not going to say you were over it. I mean, even
Right.
as a regular person that's not in that sort of industry, if you touch the line, that's not good.
Right.
I mean, there's no way that you should ever be allowed to be over the line at all. Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that as a normal person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Usually that's followed by.
Know what I'm saying?
You touch the line, and why does your vehicle smell like marijuana?
Yeah. Rip
Have you
hoagie out the
been,
car.
or
like
have you
they
been
did.
drinking tonight?
You know,
Right. What? Hey, you weren't wearing your seatbelt, and by the way, I was wearing my seatbelt, officer. Well, I made a mistake, but why does your car smell like marijuana?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't realize how many times I crossed that white line until I got the new truck thing where it goes beep 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 every time you go over
Oh,
it.
you got to turn that off.
I'm like, holy
Your
shit!
truck beeps when you cross the white line.
Yeah.
When I run
When you
on it,
drift,
yeah,
Yeah, that shit's fancy, dude.
it pays attention to it, but it is
Turn it
weird.
on- you can turn that off.
Yeah, it is.
know what's funny
It makes
is-
me drive better though because I don't want to hear it.
It drove me nuts.
Yeah,
You know what's-
I bet you don't like it. You know what?
You want to let me.
OGB.
What's your response to this?
Okay.
So my sister tells me she's broke all the time. She has a hard time paying bills.
I thought.
and whatever.
Okay,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, her dude makes good money,
Right.
but
She needs to don't stop
they
believing.
Still get a lot of credit cards
Stop
and
believing.
whatever their situation is. I don't know, like item by item, but whatever.
Is she a capitalist?
I don't know.
No, that's important. You can hit her hard on that.
Whatever. They spend money because they like to get what they want to get.
Right.
Living beyond their means.
Hey,
They whatever. But she's always saying we don't got enough money to do. We're fucking broke, and
right.
I don't know how we're gonna pay our bills and whatever. Right.
Wow.
Right. But then
So they're
last
spenders.
week she says, "I think we're gonna buy a Tesla,"
So they're
and I'm like,
that's an expensive ass car.
what? Did you say you were broke?
That's
as
a 180.
fuck.
People with money complain about not having money, and then they keep spending
how
money.
can you even be like
I noticed that.
That's how
considering-
people save money. They convince
How-
themselves they're broke and they
how-
don't spend. They're frugal.
How can you even
Yeah.
be like thinking about buying a Tesla if you're dead,
save gas.
Fucking broke.
I heard the batteries that were placed on
It's
them things.
programming, man.
whatever.
They got to her. She's feeling the pressure of doing her part.
Well, she just don't know what broke is. I guess is what I think.
Yeah.
I think you don't understand what broke is.
You know, that's interesting. Yeah, because a lot of people spend and then they get scared when they're down to the last few thousand. And it's like, hey, I got a few dollars to my name.
Yeah.
You're not used to living like this. I downshift to
I think
McDonald's
that's
at
helpful.
Wednesday.
You have to be like that.
And
you
I'm
have
good.
to be like that at some point in your life. That shit's helpful.
Yeah.
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 The people that never have that in their life, those are the people I'm a little scared of.
Well, that's the problem because
What's
they don't
that?
realize.
like Paris Hilton type people that are they get the the inheritance or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the trust fund
they've
babies.
never had that point in their life where they're just like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do?
Never had to worry about money.
Yeah.
They never got their power shut off. You're like, oh, shit.
I had zero before. Zero is that's a good number.
Yeah.
Or negative. Even.
Well, that's not the Paris Hilton, but talking about your sister, that's a problem, man. When you got the people making $30 an hour that fight about the people making $10 an hour against Jesus Christ, Daniel, against the people making $10 an hour. I thought that the whole thing's gonna fall over. Making $10 an hour, and then while their bosses are making thousands of dollars an hour.
I don't think there's anybody that does anybody make minimum wage anymore? Because I go to McDonald's.
Oh, of course.
At this table?
You've given
Not
me,
at this
you,
table.
You give me shit about going to McDonald's, right? You said, "Hey, don't go to McDonald's, dude."
Well, that was before inflation hit. Now I'm at
fat,
McDonald's
dude.
too.
You're like, well, stop going to McDonald's, dude.
Well, I just tried it.
Well, I went.
You were talking.
I went
okay.
like yesterday.
So what?
So they have a sign, and it says, "Any regular old fuck that comes in there, $13 an hour. Managers, $16 an hour."
That's in Florida. There's places. There's other McDonald's.
I'm sure that's the same for everywhere.
No, Florida's a pretty busy state, dude. It's we treat our people better than most, dude. Actually,
so?
yeah.
No. The right to work state does.
I mean, dude, you go to West Virginia places and shit like that.
wow.
I assume if McDonald's is playing $13 to $16 an hour here, that's
cheaper
the way it
places
is
to live
everywhere.
out there is what
It's
I'm
based
saying.
on geography.
Yeah, they're trying to get.
Now if I was getting $16 an hour, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
But I'm also not working at McDonald's,
Well,
and I mean, I don't know. I mean,
do you know the new stat came out?
I just think if you're making minimum wage, then you are a younger individual,
Yeah.
and that's
You're
fine.
just starting out in your work life.
A younger individual should be making minimum wage or
What do you think
whatever.
minimum wage should be today?
I'm not really sure. I don't really have a solid.
Well, the
opinion
Bureau of
about that.
Labor-
I know when I started to work, I made like $4.50 an hour.
Yeah. The Bureau of
And
Labor.
I was fucking thrilled.
Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. The Bureau of Labor Statistics just came out and they said that if production kept up with the inflation and with productivity adjusted for inflation, it would be $27 an hour minimum wage.
So where does that put us? What would we be?
We would be
Having
like
the
70 or
skill,
some
70?
shit, like $70 or $80 an hour, dude.
Well, I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean that's what class solidarity is. It's
Well, that's the thing.
class consciousness is the biggest thing that we're not understanding. That's the reason these fucking fascists are kicking ass and just like berating socialism and saying that's bad, it's evil. It's because they don't want us
Hey,
uniting
can I
on a
see-
common
Can I
purpose.
see what this sound is?
And they want capitalism to keep going, to breed this inequality, to keep
They're
the
on
fucking
team
machine
capitalism.
going.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Can I
right.
see if this is funny or not?
Well, fascists and Nazis are. God damn. He is fucking pathetic, dude. I mean, and that's another thing, you know.
He really said that.
Yeah, I know. He said a lot of shit like that, and it's really bad. I mean, I can't even remember what I was just gonna say because that's so fucking bad. But man, it's.
Hey, when we were talking about the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing yesterday, I've heard that. I've heard about his laptop for months, and I never asked or looked up what it is that they were talking about until yesterday.
You didn't know?
Well, I knew there was some kind of information I knew he got
on the laptop.
I knew he got paid off in some sort of way.
Yeah.
I knew there was some kind of blackmail situation.
Yeah.
But I never really like looked at the specifics.
Right.
But if you just type in Hunter Biden's laptop, then you see that motherfucker half naked all over your computer.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't agree with that, man.
No,
because there's pictures on his laptop, right?
Yeah,
but I don't agree with that. I think that's fucked up that they do that.
But I guess it's like his government issued laptop, his work laptop, right? Well, it's got him, and he's like, and he's like smoking a crack pipe.
Yeah, see, that's why I disagree with. It's like if you're gonna show something, then show something.
He's even asleep.
Yeah.
He's even passed out with the crack pipe in his mouth.
Yeah, if you're gonna
or a meth pipe or whatever kind of rock pipe it is.
Right.
Then he's like behind some chicks like pulling their hair, and it's like all kinds of
see that's not what that laptop.
Like, oh,
but that's not what his.
Is this what it's all about? It's
No.
all about a drug fueled sex
No.
orgy situation.
No, and that's why I'm. So what did you learn?
I didn't learn anything except that he looks better naked.
And that's
than
why they
I
do that.
or
And that's why
something.
they do that.
I don't know.
And that's exactly why they do that. They post a picture of him smoking
No,
crack.
he just
post a picture
looks-
of him
he
doing
just
that
looks fucked
to take
up.
away from all that he was getting funded $80,000 a month from a Ukrainian board for that energy company, and take away from the fact that he had information. Dude, they did a video
But
the other day.
what is his position? Though?
Hold on, man. They did a video the other day about all the, you know how they take the news anchors and they show them all saying Russian propaganda, Russian propaganda, Russian propaganda on every one. It was for the laptop and shit. But basically, he had the biolab research shit on there, talking about all the biolab research funding. I think there was 26 facilities there. There's a bunch of fucking information. But that's why they do that. They just show you shit like that to get people to respond like that, and make you totally not even fucking realize. Right. Will Smith smack. Will Smith smack.
Oh yeah. He's did you hear about him? He's banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
Oh no.
Oh no. There's something else to talk about.
Breaks my heart.
You know, they wouldn't even be talking about the Oscars 24 hours after the Oscars if it wasn't for that fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, how many people say the Oscars were on? Didn't even know it was on.
Well, I think it is something to talk about a little bit. Not the way that it has been.
What would we be talking about if it wasn't for that?
I mean, what do you mean?
We didn't even watch it. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying it's something that happened.
Right.
So it should be reported.
Right.
Should it be as much in your face as it is? No.
I think. I mean, look at what we just talked about with the CIA. This is Hollywood. These are actors, right? Okay. I mean, maybe I'm fucking crazy, but I think it was staged, man. I think it was all fake.
I don't think it was staged, no.
I think it was fake for a lot of reasons. They were sitting up front. What's the odds you're going to be the first one up?
See, that's a
on
branch.
the stage?
That's a branch on the distraction tree right there. To steer you off into thinking it was staged. Okay, the conspiracy that it was staged.
That's true.
It's just another branch on the distraction tree.
That's true.
Don't fucking climb out there.
That's
Don't
true.
slide out there.
If you think it was fake,
this
then
is
it
just
part
some
of your
fucking
whole
bullshit
thing.
that we were able to witness because of TV. You know, the shit that goes on at parties. You know, two men had a beef, man. It got handled. Let them deal with it, man. Who gives a shit?
Right, but to flip and I agree what you're saying, but to flip it back, if it was premeditated and planned, then wouldn't that make it a bigger distraction? Because we wouldn't even be talking about the Oscars otherwise.
I mean, if it was premeditated and it was planned and it was all set up, then that is it's set up as a distraction, obviously.
Well,
I don't think that it was.
My point to that is
Chris
it's
Rock,
like,
he was like, "What the fuck?"
You just don't give a shit about that either.
Right.
I don't care.
I don't.
So what if it was set up and so what?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I wouldn't even be fucking talking about the goddamn shit.
It piques my interest because I like both those guys. I've seen them for years.
I don't think any different of those guys.
Yeah.
It's like this. we all grew up. You got a bunch of friends hanging out. Friends fought each other, right? So you're hanging out with us two. We're childhood buddies, okay? So we're all hanging out one day. So me and you get into a fight.
At a party right now.
The next day we're off, but you're not gonna stop hanging out with either one of us.
Right.
Because we had a beef.
I don't know if you smacked the fuck out of me, dude. Like
Not
that.
out of you, but out of him. No, not out of you, but out of him.
It would hurt my feelings, bro.
Not out of you, but out of him.
Right.
It's our beef, but you're not going to stop hanging out with either one of us.
That's true. That's
my
happened to me
point.
before.
And
Yeah.
that's what cancel culture is. You know, it's
Yeah.
like they're deciding like, oh, we're choosing sides. We're not going to hang out with this friend anymore.
Right. I just think
that's you don't do that.
No, you're right. You're right about that. But I just think that there was. I even did it. I thought about this shit and how many things just didn't make fucking sense. Like, Jada's been bald her whole damn life.
Yeah, her hair is always short forever.
And if it really bothered her, why wouldn't she just get $1 million weave that would look like real hair? You know? So that was the first thing. They are actors. It is Hollywood. It was the Oscars, you know, and...
Yeah, but the Oscars is professional. It's not MTV Awards.
Right, but if he was sitting up front, that's true. But if he was sitting up at front, right, and you're going to walk all the way up there, you're going to smack him. Dude, if you're that out of line and that enraged, wouldn't you just knock the fuck out of him and drop him?
Maybe that was his restraint, was the smack. He wanted to, yeah.
Or
like,
that would have made it real.
He's like,
keep my wife's name
He could have just done
out
that.
your fucking mouth.
He can get away with a slap.
Yeah.
He couldn't get away with cold.
Yeah, if you punched him and
I
knocked
wouldn't-
him on the ground.
He's going to jail.
Okay,
That
all
would've
right.
been a bigger deal.
All right, but before it happens, and you're going to tell me this is going to
He's not
happen,
that
if we
dumb.
all had to make bets right now and said, all right, if he walks up there and smacks him and goes back to it, smacks him the way he smacked him, which is another thing that didn't make sense. The mildness of the joke did not match the strength of that smack. But anyway, if we all made bets
According
right now.
to you, not from Will's perspective.
I think
Right,
he
but
did
hold on,
it-
let me finish. If we were all to make bets before he went up there and said that he's going to smack him like that and showed another smack to make it a smack, and we're going to make bets whether he's going to and say that, keep your wife's name out my fucking mouth twice, I'm going to bet my money that he's going to get escorted out by security.
Yeah.
What would you guys bet?
That he's getting
Well, he
escorted
should.
out,
He
yeah.
should have. And they said in the articles that they asked him to leave and he refused. But I think
They chose not to escalate the
he would-
situation.
he only
does
did,
that ever
he
work?
only did that because it was Chris Rock. If it was The Rock, he would not have smacked that motherfucker.
And Chris Rock didn't sue. I'm leveling up if I'm Chris Rock. He's worth like $50 million.
No, he's
Will
not gonna
Smith's like
sue,
50
dude.
million, $500 million. Will Smith's worth a lot of that. He's
He
worth
would
almost
lose
half
his
a
man
billion.
card if he did some shit like
yeah.
that.
But he's that.
I mean,
That's
he's gonna comment and say something eventually, but he's not gonna sue over it.
that's the new you got knocked the fuck out though. Like
Well,
that's gonna be the brunt of all jokes
If
for
he,
forever.
If he did
It's
get
on
knocked
video.
the fuck out and like got his jaw
It's
broken
worth a
or
couple
something,
million.
That'd be a different situation.
And I look at you, brother. If we all hang out like you said, and we're all gonna be friendly, I'd be like, yo, I had to get a couple million off you. Come on, bro. You're worth fucking a ton of money. Dude.
Give him $1 million, Mike.
Yeah.
Give him $1 million.
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
Then
But
we can all be friends again.
But Chris
Exactly.
Rock does all these voiceovers for all these cartoons and all this shit.
It just
If
seems so
he
bullshit.
starts anything that he starts, he's going to be released of.
It just didn't seem right.
So that's why he held his composure and didn't do shit.
All right, but we got to move on. We're gonna check out a video really quick, and then we'll come back.
A Baker County high school senior is in the hospital after collapsing on the tennis courts.
Breaking new details on the deaths of a high school soccer player.
Finland, Denmark's star man Christian Eriksen collapsing towards the end of the first half.
The Kennedy High community mourning tonight after one of their high school football players died.
A South Carolina high school football player has died after collapsing at football practice.
Star college basketball player collapsing on the court. We want to warn you, the video may be difficult to watch.
Florida Gators star Keontae Johnson collapsing during the game.
A West Catholic high school student has died after collapsing during a football scrimmage.
On mile 8, she suddenly felt fuzzy and blacked out.
17-year-old Ryan Jacobs' heart stopped.
Unexpectedly collapsed on the field.
Megan went into cardiac arrest.
Collapsing during Friday night's football game.
reason for his collapse is unknown.
The reason why Manny collapsed in the first place still isn't known.
So you might be wondering how someone in such great shape could suffer cardiac arrest.
It's a rare thing that happens.
The coroner says the condition is rare. It's just one of those tragedies.
Did she have any signs
Nope.
before this race? I mean,
Absolutely not. She felt like she's in the best shape of her life.
that's incredible.
USC wants to attack, but you've got to be careful. He collapsed. He collapsed.
We have a player down.
Something happened to one of the referees.
Entonces quizás ha referido algún tipo de dolencia en el...
We've had a heartbreaking situation here.
All right. People are collapsing everywhere. So, what do you guys think about that?
Too much fucking.
Oh man, I mean, I do you think it's vaccine related? Those are all recent reports. I didn't see the Gator one. I didn't see, and shame on me for not being able to see that. But that seemed like a lot.
Okay, is it established that
like a lot.
everybody dropping is vaccinated for one thing?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Where all those people, I think sports players. I don't know. Do they have to get vaccinated? Is there schools?
I think a lot of them do have the requirement.
Do they?
I think so. I mean, I don't know for sure, but
and how I'd have to see the statistics on how many were passing out before. But
or a history.
Right. Does that shit happen all the time? You just didn't tell us until now?
Well, I know it was happening before.
I passed out before. You seen it?
I remember that, bro. I remember that. But I remember a lot of sports players before passing out. Like well, not a lot, but I remember like it would happen, dude. They die on the fucking field, man.
Yeah, they could be tying it into something that normally happens, and
right. I don't know, man. But
that all was recent stuff that you showed me, right?
This is all since COVID, right?
That's all since COVID,
which is in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot for just sports players alone. Was it you that said before the show that if it's happening that much on camera, then
anything that's happening on camera is happening a greater percentage.
Yeah, it has to be
off
right?
camera. I don't know what the percentage would be, but yeah, it's. I mean, these days you get a lot on camera, but still, it's more than double or whatever off camera.
It's something to think about, and I felt necessary to show that because they're gonna start back with the mandate shit. As soon as this Russia Ukraine stuff slows back down, they're not done with that. They're gonna come back, and they're gonna be pushing for more mandates. And
I heard China's on a full lockdown again.
Oh Jesus!
China?
I got to look into that. I'm not sure, but I could find out. Like there are several journalists and shit like that report about China. I have not heard. on a full lockdown.
China.
But I mean, it would make sense if they were, because they do take that shit seriously, and we don't. We got
They're on lockdown because of a COVID situation. Right?
Yeah,
that's what you're saying, right?
That's what he's saying. Yeah. So, but I think my mom told me that too. So,
lockdowns in Shanghai and other Chinese cities pose a growing threat to the economy.
Growing threat to the economy. Oh, they always say that, dude. We've said. Well,
they still do. They still do have the signs on the 7-Eleven doors.
It's not really happening. They're just using that as another excuse to jack the prices up on everything.
Probably, but they keep saying that they're a threat to the economy. Everything that China is doing is a threat to the economy. Like the real estate thing was one of them. And every time it doesn't faze them. And I think it's because our economy is shit. They say our economy is doing good, but that just means rich people are doing good. And they say that they're creating jobs, but there's a lot of those fucking jobs that are, what's the name of that shit? Oh God, it's bullshit. Like Ubers and shit. Yeah, they're bullshit, but they're Ubers, or they're getting jobs back but they're still paying shit wages, and
jobs are at unemployment's at a record low. They're saying,
dude, America is the most propagandized fucking country of all time. It's not even close. We got our people to believe that we're this free society when we have 4% of the world's population and we incarcerate 1 out of 4 of the world's fucking. We have the biggest penal colony ever, and it's not even close, dude. Like,
that's not a good thing. Biggest penal colony.
Yeah, colony.
Yeah,
penal
big
colony.
penal in your.
But they
cavity.
keep saying that we're free and all this shit. But man, we are fucking lied to. We don't. I mean, look at the amendments, right? The First Amendment, freedom of speech. We're getting censored. Julian Assange telling the truth about a fucking war. He's fucking locked up for 175 years. Daniel Hale gets locked up he's in jail right now for talking about drone bombings. Censored. These people on Twitter are getting censored just for speaking their mind.
Yeah, man just got arrested for putting a Biden "I did this" sticker on a gas pump down in South Florida.
Man.
You did? Somebody got arrested.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
For what?
But they caught him in the
What
act
was the charge though?
I think
that's what I said.
Vandalism.
It's got to be vandalizing. Yeah.
Whatever.
Second Amendment. Yeah, we got gun rights, but guess what? If you don't know who the enemy is, then you don't know who to fucking point your guns at, motherfuckers. So that kind of just takes away your fucking second gun right. And plus, they're gonna give you shit about it, whatever.
They got us so divided, we'll just shoot ourselves.
We're shooting ourselves, exactly. So that's backfired, and no pun intended. But Fourth Amendment is totally abolished, dude. They search and seizure. Civil asset forfeiture takes up more crimes. There's a statistic that civil asset forfeiture for the cops and qualified immunity and all that shit, which is bullshit. Because our tax dollars, when we sue, it just comes out of our pockets, any cop that misbehaves. But civil asset forfeiture has been proven to take up more money than all the criminal acts in the whole nation combined, dude.
Wow.
It's I'm going to get that stat next time. I might even show it on there.
A number of other severe penalties. We changed the law so that if you are arrested and you are a drug dealer, under our forfeiture statutes, the government can, take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything.
But I skipped the Third Amendment, but I'm sure we're violating that shit too. But I mean, dude, it's fucking, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But they talk about how a free society and all this shit, and it's ridiculous. And and then the mandates, they're gonna force you to take a vaccine no matter what. It's good for you, and never mind the adverse effects list that was pages long, dude. It was pages long, and have you
ever heard of like a pharmaceutical ad on TV? You ever listen to like the longest of side effects?
There's always a lot of side effects.
Yeah, this may cause death, substantial risk of death, anal leakage, bleeding from the eyes, ears, nose, and throat and kidneys.
Yeah,
I mean it's just like,
but it'll help your headache.
I'd rather not take this. Yeah,
so but it'll help
the
headache.
Everything's like that.
God, man, maybe. But here's another thing though. That same pharmaceutical ad you see on TV, you go to other countries and that's not, they're not sponsoring Pfizer all over the fucking place and shit like that. So that's rare. We're used to that too. And
I don't think it's legal to advertise drugs or lawyers in other countries, right?
No, I don't know.
Like they don't have like billboards of lawyers.
I think you're right for most countries. Yeah, it's not. It's something like 90-something% of other countries don't do that shit, and that's another thing. And our militaries, you know, they're funding everything. I mean, look at our media sources, dude. It's like a handful of corporations own all the media sources. They're definitely.
If you drive anywhere in Orlando, the only like probably 80% of the signs are for lawyers, right?
Right.
Like
literally, Daniel and everything.
It's way more than 50%.
Yeah.
All this litigation is why we pay so much for insurance.
It's more than 50% for sure.
Real quick, I just want to show this Fauci clip real quick, and because I think this is interesting as well.
But she's had the flu for 14 days. Should she get a flu shot?
Well, no. If she got the flu for 14 days, she's as protected as anybody can be, because the best vaccination is to get infected yourself.
And
so
she should not get it?
If she really has the flu, she definitely doesn't need a flu vaccine. If she really has the flu,
she should not get it again.
No, she doesn't need it, because it's the most potent vaccination is getting infected yourself.
I've already had COVID. I'm protected, and now the study says maybe even more protected than the vaccine alone. Should they also get the vaccine? How do you make the case to them?
You know, that's a really good point, Sanjay. I don't have a really firm answer for you on that.
And that changed dramatically.
Yeah.
That changed dramatically because you didn't hear that shit, you know.
You think he thinks he's a Jedi, you know, just
yeah.
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah. He lied about the mask. And I got a theory about the mask too. We were talking about this before the show started. The mask was when he said it after the lie, but it ended up being so we could have more PPE for the doctors and nurses and all that stuff. Okay, well if that's the case, why didn't you just have us all make makeshift masks? Because money. They wanted to make the masks themselves and sell that to the public instead of having us produce them, because there was a lot of money to be made with if making the mask would have been privatized, have a company make it rather than the people make their own fucking masks. And it's just another way to trip us up. But everything changes, you know. The herd immunity was bullshit. All that shit was bullshit. So I don't know what to make of all this.
Did you hear about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
No, what happened with that?
I heard the other day that if you got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it's just as effective as getting nothing.
Are you serious?
That's what I heard.
Brother, you
Look
gotta,
it up real quick.
No, you got to send
Make
me
sure
that.
I'm not a liar.
No, I don't fucking call you a liar. You're pretty accurate with your reporting.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is basically zero effective.
Wow.
Well, that sucks.
And the other ones,
or maybe that's good for them.
The other ones are way lower than what they, initially reported. But the Johnson & Johnson specifically was like, no.
There's just so much that doesn't make fucking sense, man. It's just so fucking weird.
It's like if I put some water in a syringe and then you give me a whole lot of money for putting that shit in you. Hell yeah.
And how do you know whatever they're giving you? Let me say this so the video doesn't get cut. The vaccine does work. It reduces severe illnesses and hospitalizations. It definitely does work. All right, so we said that now.
Wow.
Yeah, just to make sure.
We said that, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it is proven to reduce severe illnesses and hospitalizations.
It reduces it by 1.0%.
Yeah, what it reduces it by, whatever. But if you're ever talking about the vaccine, that's the thing. You have to say that so your video doesn't get pulled. And I would hate to fucking.
But I did hear that about the Johnson & Johnson the other day. I can't really quote the source. I'd have to look it up. But
well, that's.
I assume
that's a hell of it. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. But yeah, man, talking about natural immunity now is better when more potent than anything, and then that's totally not the case. And plus, that doesn't support the mandate deal. You know, if you have all these people that have already contracted the virus, we have. Again, it's kind of like the prison population. We have 4% of the world's population, and we've got 20% of the world's COVID deaths, and I think it's like 26% of the world's fucking contractions, like just having it. It might even be more than that. I'm not sure, but it was a crazy number.
We want to be number one in everything. What's the problem?
Yeah, we're number one And I mean, look,
Like
I don't
old
want to
Dolphin
sound like
song.
I'm not patriotic.
What's the old
dude.
Dolphin song?
But I think
we're number one.
I don't think that it's worth fighting each other over, but it's because I'm worried about people, man. I really think, most of my family got the vaccine, so I'm fucking scared, dude. I don't want nobody to be hurt. I want everybody to be okay. Mike, you got vaccinated.
Yep.
I want everybody to be okay.
God.
Not Johnson & Johnson.
Not the Johnson? You didn't get the Johnson?
I didn't get the booster.
Yeah, a lot of people did that too. They were like, I didn't get the booster. I'm not getting that boost. The boost. They jumped right out the window with that. They were like, okay, now we need the boost. You're like, wait a minute, we just got vaccinated.
Well, aren't they suggesting like 3 or 4 boosters now?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
4.
I mean, that
Four's
seems a
the
little
number.
out of line, right? Like, hey, how many do I got to get now?
Well, how often? I mean,
Really?
they give flu shots every year.
Right, I understand that.
Why the
that's
kids?
what it's going to become. It's going to become
the new
part
flu.
of the flu shot. I've even heard they're going to do a combination flu shot, coronavirus vaccine at the same time. So it'll be a one-time thing every year. But to say you got to get a shot 4 or 5 or whatever times for this thing,
No.
5 and out.
Fuck off.
What do you guys think about the kids?
I hate kids.
No,
Little
about getting them
bastards.
vaccinated.
Vaccinating
Yeah.
them? No, they don't deserve
Did you
it.
get yours vaccinated?
My kid?
Yeah.
No, she wanted it, and I was like,
How old is she?
no, I don't love you that much.
How old is Ava?
She's 7. No, I'm just kidding about what I just said, but
I know you did. Dude, they know that. No, like they don't know you don't joke by now.
I don't feel comfortable enough to get it for myself, so I definitely don't feel comfortable enough to give it
what
to
do
my
you feel,
child-
Mikey?
To my child.
It depends on the age, I think that if the child's too young
Yeah, 'cause
to
Colin's older.
cognitively make their own decision responsibly, then if I have to make it for them, then I'm not making it. Then they're not getting it.
I mean,
but my son was 16, so
He wanted
he
it.
was going to school. He wanted it, so I let him.
It's done deal, man.
Yeah, that's,
I'm with you on
he's
that.
16. That's a done deal.
16's different too.
I'm skeptical enough. I'm already skeptical about the normal vaccines. Not that I'm
Right.
like a anti-vax person, but still the normal vaccines that everybody gets and they've gotten for years and years and years, there's still 1 in 100,000 that has an adverse effect on that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And it's just weird that you can't sue them. That's the fucked up thing too. It's like, hey, if I could sue you, that's great.
Well, in the military,
you used to be
they made
able
us-
to.
Yeah.
They made us take vaccines that
Right.
were unknown and sign waivers for, take tablets and pills.
Right.
And then sign waivers.
Yeah, you got to get all did up.
There's an
Because you're going around the world and shit.
Extra shit. No, I mean, but like new shit.
New shit too.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
you're
let's
like test.
try this
So
out
wait,
on you
well,
guys.
wait a minute. This is interesting. So you're doing all kinds of extra shit, as in what? Like just more shit?
Not like everybody gets the basic, you get a lot of vaccines and stuff when you go into basic training and whatnot. But, when we were in the desert for the threat of nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, they gave us these, here, take these pills. Like, we'd never seen this shit
Oh,
before.
shit.
This is new.
Yeah.
And then here, sign this waiver. You're not going to sue.
Yeah.
You can't sue.
That's interesting.
A lot of guys didn't take them. They faked, they just didn't swallow them.
That's interesting. Wow.
Well, it's like if you go take a vacation in Africa, you got to get a shitload of shots, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But did they
I'm
keep
talking
up on you
beyond-
and monitor anything else? Like
beyond that, you're
beyond
talking
that.
about like testing.
I mean, we were the
like,
basic
not,
package.
not available to the public type of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, our basic package, which was acceptable, you're getting typhoid 1, 2, and 3, plague 1 through 4. You're getting all this obscure shit, malaria.
might have helped you.
And stuff.
A lot of that shit might be the good shit because you're military.
Maybe.
It might be, man.
I mean, we got that all the time. Every time you deployed, and you deployed, like 6
Yeah, because why don't we
6
get that
times.
shit here?
You get it, but it'd fuck you up for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt that shit.
But like I said, the new stuff.
The new stuff.
Like here.
But that's
then
it.
when they
though.
break out a waiver on that new stuff, it makes you a little nervous.
The waivers make you nervous.
Yeah.
I got to sign?
Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, they I think the military, they'd actually, the way I look at it is there's so much a small percentage of military compared to the regular population. So why would they give that to the military and not the regular population unless it was the good shit?
Test it out, lab rats.
Or unless it was the good shit and we just can't give it to everybody.
No, they're testing it to see.
Yeah, they don't care about people. What the fuck am I talking about? No matter what. No. If they gave a fuck about the military, they'd be paying them the way they should be.
Expendable.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know. I just try to, God damn. It's crazy, man. It's crazy times, but they are prioritizing money over human lives and just trying to figure things out as they go. And you see it across the board. It's in everything. It's in what we just talked about today. It's truly fucked up. And the Fauci thing blows my mind. The fact that he just, now we're seeing these clips come up, on C-SPAN from all that time ago. It's fucking shit.
And what are we going to do?
There's too much money is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, because if you ask somebody, hey, would you sign this person's life away for $10,000? Well, no, that's horrible. I wouldn't do that. All right. Well, would you do it for $100,000? No, I wouldn't do it. Well, maybe. No.
10 million.
Well, would you do it for $10 million?
Where do I sign?
$10 million, yeah, fuck.
Hey, we figured out.
Fuck them.
But we were talking on the last program about the welfare versus it's funny that pie chart had all that extra shit on the welfare side of it, and I was like, wait a minute.
Well, the welfare is a big umbrella.
But what you would think, what most people think, is it's the people without the jobs. So you're taking up all the welfare.
Welfare is the free money.
Right, but
basically.
Right.
Social Security.
But
or not Social Security, but social
welfare,
Medicare, Medicaid,
unemployment, and food stamps is what most people think about because you're unemployed. That's what 99.99% of people think. So when you're telling them that we're spending more on welfare than we are the military, well, I did some figuring, and it was around $67 billion for the unemployment. It was like 70-something billion for food stamps. So it ended up being $148 billion for the unemployment and food stamps. And military, it was 1.11 trillion.
Tell me the total on your welfare again? 100 and whatever?
I don't fucking have the numbers.
On the website, it says 700 and something billion.
Right, but it had the science. It had science study. It had science research. It had all these other fucking things on there, dude. And it's like, how does that attribute to welfare?
There's housing and there's all kinds of welfare shit, bro. I mean, I don't know what it.
They definitely
I'm sure,
aren't giving people free housing.
It's fluffed in some way, shape, or form.
Are they giving people free housing?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Where?
Section 8. You ever heard of that?
Free housing?
Yes. Hello?
They give free housing.
Section 8.
It sucks, but yeah.
So where the fuck was that on the pie chart?
Projects.
What was that? But where was that on the pie chart that I was looking at?
I don't know,
I sent
dude.
you. Did you look at that?
It's just like food stamps. You get so much a month for food, and then the other thing is you get
so
much
why
a
would
month
some people get free housing and other people not?
Because you make too much money.
No fucking way, dude. Then everybody's getting free housing.
Right. So if you don't work, then you get more. That's the whole fucking paradox
There's no
of it.
Fucking way, dude. Then why do we have a homeless population of fucking 2.5 million?
Well, because nobody is advising those homeless people. If somebody was
That's
advising
bullshit.
those homeless people,
That
they
is
get
bullshit.
more money.
There's not enough of it to go around.
Nah.
Well, right. I agree. There's not enough for
Now
it
I
to
got
go
to look
around.
into this.
But
to be continued.
But those homeless people are due. Okay. Just
All right.
this one.
All right, so let's add another.
No,
how much do you think it is?
One example, okay?
Okay.
Let's
do it.
What do we all get? We all got money. We all got the
stimulus.
That goes to fucking everybody, right?
Yeah, it was penis.
Okay, $1,400.
It was
whatever.
penis. It should have been 2,000, and then Trump
a month
wanted to give us another $2,000.
Everybody who is a homeless person should also get $1,400. Do you think all of them got that shit?
No.
Fuck no, they did not.
No. And neither did all the people that died from coronavirus with Social Security that they're saving tons of money on.
I'm just saying, dude.
And fat people.
There's a lot of
Think about how many people they fucking killed.
There's a lot of programs
Okay, but let's think about this. All right, we're on a job. I'm not going to tell what we do, but 2.3 billion was what we just saw. We saw the labors, the materials, the fucking concrete, all the fucking things that went in there, the 6 years of this fucking job and all the things that went in. That was just $2.3 billion. Dude, do you really think right now that it's that fucking much money that we're giving to people?
What?
Okay,
I don't know
we just did a job where 2.3 billion, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 6 years long.
Uh-huh.
We saw all the raw materials and everything that went in, the labor, everything.
Uh-huh.
So when you're talking about $1 billion, that's kind of an idea of how much money that fucking really is.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Do you really think that we're distributing more than $148 billion a year to the population?
700 billion.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to find out what the housing is in the Section 8 and shit is next time. But the food stamps.
Never even heard of that?
Yes, I have heard of Section 8 housing, but I've never heard of somebody living in a house for free. So
no, it's not for free. You get like a certain amount per month or something.
Okay, well then that's very different. I'm going to do the figures on all that shit.
Or they get your rent reduced somehow. Or
right, but I guess my point is
I've never had that. I've had food stamps before.
I guess my point is, dude, that we're just trying to justify everything. I mean, goddamn, when are we going to find out that our government is just fucking straight up lying to us, dude? Because the corporations own the fucking government and they're telling them what the fucking report.
Hey, I got to time out for a second.
Okay, well, I think we're going to time out anyway and get the fuck out of here. Real quick, if you want to.
All right.
We'll wait for you to come back real quick. But my point is, no. But my point is, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna figure out the Section 8. But is there anything else so I don't have to go to episode 3 on this shit?
I mean, for welfare, it's,
the rest was bullshit, right?
For welfare is food stamps, Section 8, which is housing, Medicare. Or not Medicare, but Medicaid.
Right, but that's not. But you just read the universal health care where we could save fucking between $42 billion. There was 4 universal health care plans that were ran. And they said we could save anywhere from $42 billion to $743 billion. So the Medicaid thing to me is bullshit. It's like, dude, if it wasn't for all these private insurance companies and the middlemen, fucking mafia robbing the shit out of us.
There's a lot of ins and outs of it. Like, dude, there was people that I used to hang out with back in the day, right? And there would be these dudes who'd be like, "Oh man, I get my check this month. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why they haven't sent it to me yet. Fuck, I can't eat." I'm like, "What check are you talking about, dude?" They're like, "My Medicaid check or my Medicare check, whatever the fuck it was."
Right. I'm
like, "Why are you getting a check?" I thought food stamps was for a family.
Right.
So you have to have a parent and children to get food stamps. That's what I thought.
Right.
Did you know that you could be a single male individual, one person, and get food stamps? Did you know that?
Well, why wouldn't you be able to?
Why the fuck would you be?
Because if I have a cheap dude, 30,000. There's 50, almost 60% of the workers right now make 30,000 or less. Okay, you and me make way above the minimum wage, which is $7.25 right now.
Don't tell people that shit.
Hold on, 30,000 a year is.
I make nothing.
Hold on, man.
Nothing.
30,000 a year is $15 an hour, bro. So if they make 30,000 and less, and that's 60% of the percentage, well, no shit, that's where our goddamn shit is going to. And we wouldn't. How many of these social services would we actually need if we just paid a living wage?
I guess you have to. You know, they put that thing into law a couple years ago, right? Or maybe more than a couple years ago, where they started drug testing people that were getting government assistance.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Right.
And I don't really agree with that necessarily, because I think people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. But if you're getting government assistance, then, if the government's giving you free money because for whatever reason you can't work, then, well, you shouldn't really be allowed to spend that money on drugs. You have to, spend it to feed your children and shit.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the same as fucking? Well, I guess you're different than me. But look, at the end of the day, dude, I'm back. I roll back to this. I roll back to the fact that we wouldn't need all this assistance or governmental assistance if these cocksucking motherfuckers weren't operating off a capitalist system that demanded profit, for profit, everything. So they have to improve the stockholders.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame Bezos and
No, I'm blaming the system.
I'm
blaming the system. I'm not blaming individuals. I'm blaming the system in general, dude. And the Bezoses and shit wouldn't be Bezoses if we didn't have this system.
But there has to be somebody has to be in every level, right? There has to be a janitor. There has to be somebody that cleans the fucking toilet.
Right, but they have to be?
There has to be somebody that sweeps the floors.
Right.
There has to be someone that picks the cotton and picks the fucking other the fucking strawberries.
But what's your point?
I'm just saying there's somebody at every level.
Right. So what's your point?
So my point is, it's up to them to not stay there forever.
You're crazy.
What do you mean?
That's the whole fucking point, dude.
No, the whole point.
The point is there's no jobs. You're talking about the gig economy right now. That's a great. Hold on. Let's talk about the gig.
What you saying is that there should never be
a billionaire.
No. Well, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but you're also saying there should never be that person on the very fucking bottom.
No. I'm saying that it shouldn't be to the point where as there's so many broke people that we need all this government assistance. I'm just saying it should be more fair. That's all I'm saying, dude.
But how? I mean, you're saying it's not fair because these people make so much money.
Are hoarding all the money,
that's
right?
That's
not
really
the inequality.
They make the money because they do what they do.
No, they make the money because the system breeds the inequality the way it does.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not saying I don't think that they should make the amount of money that they make, but But they should obviously make a shitload of money.
Yes,
because of what they do.
Yes, but what's a shitload of money to you?
A shitload of money is way less than what they make.
all right, we're agreeing.
A shitload of money is $1 million.
Yeah.
Which
that's it.
They would They would literally shit.
Yeah.
$1 million in the toilet and flush it every fucking day of their lives.
Yeah. By the time
and not even notice.
Yeah. By the time.
So my definition of a lot is not their definition of a lot.
And we're agreeing now. But that's it. But you understand it's the capitalist system that breeds the inequality. It makes it like that to the point where they could write their own laws, bro. They write their own laws to protect their interests.
Enough money to buy everything that they want.
That's right. And that is the problem. So we're agreeing now.
So that's what everybody should aspire to. So
aspire to for class consciousness and to understand this. Because
if you have $200 billion,
look at what we just talked about. Look at what
if you're not happy with $200 billion, it's not something wrong with everybody else. It's definitely wrong with you.
Well, there is a study that all these billionaires are fucking sad, actually.
Whatever.
And it's like depressed or whatever.
Blow your fucking brains out. I don't give a fuck. Blow your brains out.
It's a true study. I mean, and I could see that. I could see being so rich that you're that you don't know who likes you for you.
I could totally understand it, but I have no sympathy. So fuck off. Fuck you. Kill yourself. I don't give a fuck.
I do not support that message, but I mean I do understand that it's but welcome back, Mikey. I'm sure you didn't miss a thing from the other room.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But anyway, man, I guess we'll sign off at this point. We're out of shit to talk about. We're just rambling at this point. But class consciousness is important, man. It's
gonna get less PC anyway.
Yeah. Well, you need less alcohol, motherfucker. Well, Mikey, thanks for coming through again, man. You got to come back soon, man.
Thanks for having me anytime.
Yo, real soon. Let's go. Let's do it again. And Big Stack, love you, brother. Let's do it.
All right.
Y'all, thanks for tuning in. We out.
Peace.
Okay, so we're back. And briefly, it was brought to my attention, just watched a clip of the Jimmy Dore show, and something amazing happened. He had a clip of Claire Daly giving a speech at the European Parliament, and an MEP member, I believe his name is Angel Zambaki, if I'm not mistaken, extreme piece of shit it looks like, he threw a Nazi salute on his way out, and it's worth a look. Let's take a look.
Ha facoltà di replicare.
Thanks, colleague. I would love colleague Jambaski to tell me any circumstance in which NATO has played a productive role or delivered peace anywhere. History has taught us that sanctions do not end military conflicts. They do not bring peace. They make the people suffer, not the oligarchs, the people of Russia, the people of Europe. And they're not going to help save lives, because the more arms you pump into Ukraine, the more the war will be prolonged, the more Ukrainians will die. And it might sound radical, colleagues, but the answer to war is not more war, it's peace. And peace isn't delivered by the barrel of a gun, it's delivered by diplomacy, by dialogue. You can wish away your continent's history, but we share a continent with Russia. We will sit down with Russia. There will be a negotiated peace, and this organization should be promoting it earlier rather than delaying it and making sure that more Ukrainians die. Your feigning of sympathy rings hollow. It makes me sick, to be honest with you.
Grazie.
So then that guy gets up and he walks out. Because what's he going to say back? Name one place in the world where NATO intervened and made things better. That's our question. Name one place. And so this is him when he left. Here he is leaving. Ready? That's him walking out. He gives the Nazi salute.
I always say bye like that.
I always say bye.
Yeah. Goodbye. I'm in the producers. Goodbye.
And so he's trying to say he was just waving.
Say goodbye.
So let's see. Was he just... So that was him giving the Nazi salute. He just got fined the day before for doing that. And he did it again. And that's his showing solidarity with the Nazis.
Looks to me like nothing's changed. That's amazing. That is unbelievable right there. And I guess if there was any doubt, because again, Operation Gladio, we were talking about earlier this video, it was, that was the Cold War era. So was still kind of unclear whether that's still going on today or not. And I think that kind of, at least for me, it does. I wouldn't have came back and did this short piece unless it was worth it. And yeah, that's amazing to me. So I'm speechless, really. I don't even know what to say, but I felt that it was necessary to put this back on and let you get a look at what that is. Again, I'm speechless. It's disgusting. And this is what we're supporting. So this is what the fuck? Thanks for tuning in.